This video was a long time coming. So I know a lot of beginners, well not beginners, but people that have just learned Ortega and had been using it for quite a while. They know what the next step is, learning CLL on 2x2. And this is exactly what I thought. For about a year. I had known Ortega for even more than a year. Only about a month ago did I finish learning CLL. In this video, I'm gonna tell you the story of what happened. Now, firstly, we have to go through the obligatory what are these methods thing. So, Ortega is basically a method where it's a method for 2x2 where you firstly make a face. It doesn't have to be a layer, just a face. And then you solve the top layer, so that's OLO. And then you permute both layers, so that's PBL. On the other hand, CLL, which is a little bit more advanced, basically, you make an actual layer, so this time all the corners, they actually have to be solved here, and then you use one of 42 algorithms to solve one of 42 cases. And there is EG, which is not the point of this video, but in case you didn't know, I don't really know an algorithm there, but basically, you make a face just like Ortega, and then you solve the whole cube. So, back in September of last year, I was just doing some random 2x2 solves. I had this thought, hey, I've been using Ortega for quite a while, so if I'm not improving, why can't I just learn CLL? And that's what I tried to do. And I tried to learn, I think I was on a call with Cubiton at the time, and I think I tried to learn like the L cases, which in case if you didn't know, it's this OLL shape, and there's 6 of them. Actually, for all of them, there's 6, apart from the H, there's 4. You can watch this video if you want to find out why. And I tried to learn them. I think I learned a few of them, but I ultimately lost motivation for a bit, and I just couldn't be bothered, if I'm going to be honest. So, I just ended up never doing it, and put it on hold for quite a while. And that was the story. I used Ortega at Melbourne Summer, and used Ortega also at Altona Algorithms 2021. And it turns out that I almost made finals, if not for 2 tragic +2s. So then it's a few days after the competition, and it just dawned on me, hey, if I almost made finals with Ortega, if I just go that little step further and learn CLL, that could be very good in terms of possibly making finals at Vic State Championships. Who knows? Okay, probably not, but I could do better. So, on that day, I think it was Tuesday, April 20th, I started learning CLL. And that's the first lesson. If you try to learn or do something and you just don't feel like doing it, maybe just put it off for a while, like, I don't know, about half a year, and then come back to it, and once your brain is more developed, you might enjoy it more. So going into this, I knew that some cases were going to be harder to learn. For example, I thought that the Soon cases and the anti-Soon cases would be the most hard. I don't know why, I just kind of got that from what I heard about COLL, which I'm not going to go through it, but basically the Soon and anti-Soon cases for that are apparently the hardest to learn, and some of them aren't even worth it. Well, basically what I thought was I learned the harder cases first so I can practice them more. Now, to me, I thought it was like this. Soon and anti-Soon, they were the hardest. So I learned them on week 1. Week 2, I learned I think it was the L and the pi cases. L and the pi cases. And on week 3, we have the U, T, and H cases, because I thought they were the easiest to learn. So that was the plan going on to it. And basically my schedule was like this. On Monday, I'd take a break, and I'd just basically not learn any algorithms. Tuesday and Wednesday, I learned one of the algorithm sets. Thursday and Friday, I'd learn another of the algorithm sets. And on the weekends, I'll just try and use them both. So firstly, it was the Soons and anti-Soon. So the first one I had to learn was Soon. And turns out, I actually think soon and anti-soon, the algorithms, they're actually really, really easy. Well, a lot of them are. So basically, so for soon, I'll just go through them. I don't use the best algorithms yet, but... Okay, for all the CLL cases, I go on and show pretty much all of the algorithms, but I'm going to cut that out because I feel like that's a bit unnecessary. But in summary, the soon algorithms are pretty easy to learn. This one, which actually I use that algorithm, which I used to use, but I really don't like the algorithm. So thanks to Ram, who you may know for being extremely good at 2x2, this video, this algorithm, I can't do it, but I learned that algorithm. There you go. And that algorithm is actually so much better than the one I used. And that turned out to be it. So I learned both of those algorithms. So basically day one, I would learn them off jperm.net. And I'd basically just get good at them and do all the jperm.net stuff. And actually, on day two, here, let me show you this. Alright, so I switched this to wide, by the way, because it doesn't look good on the computer, on SuperView, by the way. So basically, I do all the jperm.net stuff. We basically do the algorithm that's on screen, and then you basically recognize this. So this is Nicholas, if you didn't know the name of it. And I ignore the AUF because I just really needed to get to know the algorithms, not the AUFs. And I'll get to that later. I'll get to the AUFs like later on, not later in the video, but you know what I mean. So I basically do that. And then once I got good at that, basically like at the second half of the second day, what I do is I do the algorithm on screen and then close my eyes, do basically spam U moves, and then do some 3-move trigger. Then I take my stack mat and basically just do this and then that. So it's basically simulating an actual solve, and this is so I can get used to using a stack map with these algorithms, because let's face it, I'm not using a keyboard. So I want to get to know these algorithms on a stack map. If that doesn't make sense, it makes sense in my head, so yeah. So basically that was what I did for basically all the cases. So it was soon, anti-soon. Soon is basically the same as anti-soon, except it was mirrored. And actually there was one case which it's different. It's this case, and use a different algorithm that goes like that. So that's soon and anti-soon. The next cases were the L and the pi cases. I cannot remember which one I did first. Probably was the L cases. And the L cases were honestly a little bit trickier because of the recognition. I don't know why they were trickier, but they kind of just were. But basically, you either recognize of these stickers or these stickers. If I go like this, I can kind of see both of them. So yeah, there's that. And here for this case, I do an algorithm that goes like that. Yeah, just a summary of the L cases. The L cases were not too hard in my opinion. Two were basically just mirrors of each other. They were very short. And two of them were kind of similar, but the algorithms were pretty fun to learn. One of them was just R and U. I showed that before. And the other one is pretty easy. It's just like RU to R prime / RU to R prime. And yeah, those were the L cases. And then we have the pi cases, which basically, they were pretty easy because of the recognition. Recognition was kind of easy because it's just the top 4 stickers. This one. Alright, for every single category, I'm just going to do its own review because, easy. It's basically let's be real, you don't want to hear me talk about these algorithms, actually, and it would make the video way too long. And the pi cases, they were pretty easy. There was also these two of them that were basically just opposites of each other. Here's one of them. One of them basically has the same stickers, the opposite bars, and the other one had the checkerboard. Those are pretty easy to learn. And obviously, and then there's this one where the same stickers are here, and then there's the one where it has the bar and the opposite colors. Those ones are pretty easy to learn as well. So the final cases were the U, T, and H cases. So I learned the T cases on the Monday and the Tuesday, the U cases on the Wednesday and the Thursday, and only the H cases on the Friday because there was only like 4 of them. So, for the T cases, well, two of them, they're basically just mirrors of each other. Okay, so there were those. There was one of them where you had the bar on the top. There were two of those cases. Those algorithms were not so hard to learn. And then you had there's two other cases. I'm not going to go into huge detail. They were a little bit obscure, but not too bad. So T cases were honestly the algorithms a little bit harder than usual. The U cases, I'm not gonna lie, some of them were a bit tricky, and I kept getting them confused with the T cases, honestly, because they look really similar. Yeah, the U cases, I kind of confused them with the T, probably because the recognition was so similar. But one of them was just the F sexy F prime. I showed that in the intro. There was also one. Okay, that one you can see on the screen. It's basically just the reverse of another CLL algorithm. And okay, if I can remember these, there was one that went like hedge. Yeah, that one right there. And basically, there was a bunch of them, and some of them were just really kind of hard to distinctify, I guess, from the T cases. But again, the algorithms weren't too bad. And then we finally have the H cases. So there's this one, which is basically the bars are basically perpendicular to these bars, and it goes like this. There's a little bit of a debate whether it's that or that, but I'm not going to go into a rant about that. There's this one where basically the bars are not perpendicular, parallel to these bars, or the bars are going the same way, and then you basically do one of the anti-student CLLs twice. Oh, whoops. So basically that. There is an algorithm that involves rotation, but I don't like rotation, so yeah. And those algorithms were really easy, and then there's this H case where there's one bar and it's perpendicular, and it's basically like this pi case, but it's mirror. And then there's this one where it's parallel, and then basically goes like that. And with that, those are all the CLL cases. I might make a CLL tutorial if you want. But basically, I learned full CLL in 2 weeks. And it's not impressive, like it's not Cubehead level where he memorized it in 4 hours or something like that. It's basically what worked for me. I was actually thinking to learn one set a day, which probably would have shown it to 2 weeks just learning, and that could have made it so I had enough time to practice, and I could have just learned one set every week. But I think this was pretty good for how I learn. So has my average improved? Now the reason it took so long for me to post this video is only because I haven't really been improving that much, which is normal. So basically, when you learn CLL, it's basically you've got this learning curve where you start learning CLL and you get a little bit slower because it takes you a little bit longer to recognize. But then, as your recognition gets better, it kind of goes down, and then eventually even better than Ortega. So I think I'm kind of at that level where I'm about the same as Ortega, as CLL, and sometimes I just Ortega to solve. If it's a really bad layer and I can't see anything, then I might just Ortega it anyway. Do this one, I can do that. Okay, after filming this video, I did some solves, and turns out I got a sub 4 average of 100, which it's not, I didn't do 100 solves and I got that. It was kind of mixed with solves from before, but I still thought it was pretty good. So that was basically learning all the algorithms, but another big element of CLL is basically making the layer. I'll probably make a separate video on that because I learned some pretty interesting things there that I would not have learned if I did Ortega, because making a layer is obviously harder than making just a face, and I learned some pretty cool things that influence the chance of getting a full layer. So if you want to see that, comment in the comments below. So what should you take from this video? Well, I have a few things that I can say. Basically, one, I already said at the start of the video, but if you feel like you can't do something, maybe just leave it for a bit and come back to it another time. Even if that's like 6 months away, if you can. And you might be in the mood to do it. This doesn't just have to apply to cubing, it can apply to anything else. I guess the next thing is learn how you want. I learned the way that was right for me, which is basically to learn one alg set every 2 days. And that kind of just worked for me. And even the practice the kind of practice technique where I basically made a CLL case and then just did 3 moves. If that doesn't make sense to you, if you think that's dumb, fine, think that. But you can come up with your own practice techniques to help you. Whatever makes sense to you is the best way for you. And I think the last thing is learning CLL. And the last thing I want to say is learning CLL is easier than you thought. With Ortega, I just couldn't bear the fact to learn 42 algorithms. But I just split it up into little chunks and then conquering those little chunks, and then that led to conquering the whole thing. So that means I will learn EG probably soon. Okay, I'm sorry. That's unoriginal. But, okay, I probably will learn EG, or EG1, sorry, in the near future. Probably after Victoria State Championships, which basically that's a competition that's coming up in just under a month. So, I'm not going to learn EG because, before then, because it's going to be too much of a hassle. I might learn EG, like, right after the EG1, sorry, right after the competition, because that's when I could really get better. So if you have a question that you want me to answer about this, then put it in the comments below and I'll try and answer it as soon as I can. Alright, thanks for watching, and if you plan on learning CLL, I'll put jperm.net in the description below so you can learn it, and there are probably a few good CLL tutorials as well. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.